Greetings, brothers! Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hey, good evening, folks. Hello, how are you? You have to excuse me, my voice is a little bit hoarse from this event this weekend. So we're just going to do 4 army lists tonight, because I'm also tired from this event. But I thought we'd jump in and keep up the show, because people expect a show on Sunday night, right? We like to look at army lists. Good evening, good evening. How's everybody tonight? Forge World is so expensive for helmets. I suppose it is. I bought that new set of helmets. I think you got like 10 helmets for $10. Try Bits Box or Bits and Kits. I appreciate you guys using the element link. Where's my new trophy? I think I put it on my shelf back here. I don't have a light on in this room, so you're not going to see it too well. Let me put light on. So I can add it to my tournament win. The first place trophy I've got over there. So now I've got a first place, I've got a third place. And honestly, I think I wanted the sportsmanship this weekend. I try to make the games fun for everybody that I played against. I think the more I go to tournaments, the more I realise that as much as I want to be competitive, I hate playing in tournaments when there's like that guy there that's so desperate to win that the game's a nightmare. So, and I'm not that guy. I mean, I like to win, but I'm not that guy. So I try to make sure that in all my games, I was going to say, even the games I lost, I try to maybe say to an opponent, hey, you could have done this better, or hey, because I think I know the rules a lot. Just, I don't know if... I do know the rules a lot. I do think I play at a pretty high level, so I try to make it super nice. And yeah, I was pretty chuffed actually to win the sportsmanship. I think that I've had votes for sportsmanship before, but this is the first time I've won it. So, yeah, so it's good. I won 3 games, I lost 2. On one of the games that I lost, I could have definitely done better in. On one of the games I lost, I think if I'd went first, I could have possibly won it as well. So, not a bad event. Actually, my list with Guilliman was pretty good. Normally I come away from an event thinking I'm going to change the list. I don't think I want to change anything. It's the first event I've come away from the event thinking, I don't know if I need to change anything, or I don't know if I really want to change anything. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest problem is Blood Angels don't have a bunch of secondaries that can score 15 points. So, I finished 8th, but I was only like maybe 8 battle points behind 5th. And it's just like when I win a game as Blood Angels, I'm going to score 90. Whereas like other armies like Necrons will win, they'll score 100, which makes it very difficult for you to keep up, I guess, in the points totals. And I don't think there's... If you're taking retrieve data, which I technically do, you normally only get to 97. Thanks, Silent Phoenix, appreciate it. Congrats, Caleb. Oh, thanks, Caleb. Yeah, I'm tired, man. My brain is like mush. You play 5. I actually forgot something in one of my games as well today. Like, I forgot to bring in deep strikers in turn 3. And there was a spot in the corner. I'd said to my opponent, I'm going to bring in my deep strikers and do my data there, and I completely forgot. So stand up to that guy, let me put them down, basically, in his turn 3. So yeah, my brain has been like mush this weekend. I think the list is fun. Walking Gilliman makes the feel good sometimes. Yeah, it was feel good. And Gilliman in this event, Gilliman did a lot actually. In one round of combat, he killed a Silent King from full health. So in the game against the Necrons, he did 16 wounds to the Silent King in one round of combat and killed him. He then did 16 mortal wounds in 1 round of combat against somebody else, and it was 16 mortal wounds before he even made any saves. Like, he needed to make like 5 saves at -5, 3 damage, and he was like, well, just roll the mortal wounds to see what it's like. And 16 mortal wounds. And then in another game, Gilliman took over and killed like 600 points of stuff on his own. So, yeah, it's fun. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll get to go to another tournament before they change all that back. But I'll make some videos on the tournament, and it wasn't a million miles away. Actually, it really wasn't a million miles away from. It wasn't a million miles away from a 4-1, and it was a really fun event. And I guess fun events is why I play 40k. So, all right, Todd. He's given me a 1,700 point list for a tournament with some of his friends, and he wants to run the Stormraven idea. Okay, so he's going to run the Chaplain with Rage as his own litany, I guess, including Litany of Hate. Seems like a strange choice. I guess we'll see why he's taken Exoration of Rage. And Gilliman is unbelievably good. Do you know what? He died 2 times in the whole event. And so he only died 2 out of 5 games, and in one of the games he came back alive. The game I didn't need him to come back alive, he came back alive with 5 wounds. The game I needed him to come back alive, he didn't. And I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles, right? Okay, we've got Librarian Dreadnought with Unleash Rage, Shield, and Wings. Seems like the right call. Chief Librarian is good. Rights of War is also interesting on a Librarian Dreadnought. I guess as long as you're maybe going to shield yourself, because I feel like his biggest weakness on a Librarian Dreadnought is lack of a fun save. Highland Phoenix, thank you so much for the 5.
Highland Phoenix donated £5 via Super Chat. Best Sportsman Pint donation. Well done, John. Great results this weekend regardless. Bringing home any prize is a win. Beer mugs _begold.
Thank you. I heard last night, or I think we were streaming very briefly last night or Thursday night, someone said a pint in Liverpool is now £9. But it's definitely not £9 a year. Thank you so much for the $5. I mean, in Liverpool they'll be paying more than £9 at a pint after the football results today, huh? There'll be a lot of pints drunk in Liverpool tonight, I'm telling you. We've got a squad of infiltrators with the Helix gauntlets. Standard. Infiltrators were good this weekend. I still think incursors are fine. I think if you've got a squad of incursors, if you've got a squad of infiltrators, you can still run 1 squad of incursors. You don't necessarily have to have 2 squads of incursors. It maybe means you need to be smart with your placement of your infiltrators, but I ran 1 infiltrators, 1 incursors. I think it was fine. We've got a squad of Blade Guard, the 3-man Blade Guard, and a sergeant. So it's actually a 4-man. It's a bit weird how this list is formatted. I ran a 3-man Blade Guard at the event. I think it's decent. I think a 4-man can be fine as well. Typically, we see people run 5s. I guess going forward, I think 3s are okay. I think 5s are okay. Hey, Miles, good evening. I won Best Sportsmanship, Miles. If you voted for me for Best Sportsmanship, thank you. I'm pretty sure I put you down on my Best Sportsmanship slip. This list also has 3 Centurions with Hurricane Bolters, Meltaguns. I don't know if I really feel like you need Meltaguns on Centurions, right? Because Centurions drills do so much damage, and like Meltaguns are just the same sort of thing. I think it's better on the Centurions having flamers, so you can flame things if you get charged, if you can flame chaff units, and then use their fists to blow up the difficult targets. But that's sort of where I land. Miles had to play the eventual tournament winner when he was 3-1, and I played Miles on that terrain, and it wasn't great. And also, because the terrain wasn't great, I think it gave whoever went first a decent advantage. Miles had a pretty good event overall. I think he finished 10th or 11th. But he did beat me. We've got the Death Company Marines with Infernal Pistols, Power Swords, and then like 4 hammers. It's kind of standard. We got another squad exactly the same, kind of standard. Both of those are fine. We got the Ironclad with the Chain Fist, the Meltagun, the combat weapon. I'd honestly maybe put Heavy Flamers and Ironclad as well. I think the Heavy Flamer is now free. Stormbolter's fine. I think Heavy Flamer is good. Thunderhammers with... Sorry, I was going to say Thunderhammers with Terminators. You can tell I'm tired. Terminators with Thunderhammers. One of my MVPs at this event, honestly, was my Terminator Sergeant with that Mastercrafted Lightning Claw. So I ran 4 with Thunderhammers, and I ran the Terminator Sergeant with Mastercrafted Lightning Claw. That Mastercrafted Lightning Claw did work in a few of the games. Into some armies it was really well. Unfortunately against Miles, the Terminators failed their damn charge. But if they had made the charge, the Mastercrafted Lightning Claw would have been amazing, and it was amazing in a couple of games. We also have Devastators with multi-meltas, plasma cannons. Don't know if I really rate plasma cannons in a Devastator squad. I mean, I guess they're fine, but at that point, you might... I was going to say, a plasma cannon only going to get... I was going to say, a plasma cannon's D3 shots, right? It's been a while since I ran a Firstborn plasma cannon. I think it's D3 shots, strength 8 minus 3, 2 damage. So realistically, it's 2 shots. Is it? Plasma cannon. Yeah, so basically, if you had a combi plasma, you could still get the 2 shots. You're not taking the -1. And you can get the 2 shots if you rapid fire. So there's an argument if you spend 135 point on this Devastator squad. I guess there's an argument to be said that you could spend 100 point on a Sternguard squad and basically do the same thing. It would depend on how you're delivering them. If you're delivering them in the flyer and the guys are going to jump out 9 inches from the enemy, then the Sternguard squad is arguably better. It's going to save you 35 points as well. Yeah, so on first look, 2 Death Company, Ironclad, Terminators, Devastators, the Storm Raven, Centurions, Blade Guard, Infiltrators, the Priest, Librarian Dread, the Chaplain. The one thing I'm not sure about in this list is the Chaplains. I feel like there's better powers for the Chaplain aura than Exoration of Rage. That's the one that gives like 1 core unit +1 to the attack's wound roll. But that doesn't stack with Red Thirst. So there's no value to that as a Blood Angels player. Right? Dirty Wizard got his Augustus box yesterday. I looked at the Augustus box on stream last night for 5 minutes. But I haven't made anything yet for it. Are we finding Thunderhammers being real swingy without rerolls, not just reroll ones? Well, that's why in my list I take a Chapter Master, really, is to give the Thunderhammers rerolls. Reroll ones is okay. The thing about Terminators is you can always pay 1 CP to get +1, so you end up with hitting on 3s rerolling ones. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to run Death Company with Thunderhammers, I feel like you need either Quake Bolts or Chapter Master rerolls, and I was taking both. Yeah. How did the event go? I'll break down the whole event. Overall, it was a good event. I liked my Guilliman list. I think I got better at playing it throughout the event. But I did lose against Miles in Game 4. I haven't played Miles in a while, and Miles' list does so much damage, and I know it does so much damage, and I should have probably been a little bit more cautious. I was trying to deploy aggressive, so that if I went first, I would kill a lot of his stuff. And to be fair, I did kill like 3 of his fight first units in turn 1. And I killed like 2 of his big mortal wound generator units in turn 1 as well. But I guess I just took too much damage from it. So it might have been different if I'd went first. I guess we would have seen. But yeah, it was going to be a tough game anyway. It was only like a 20-point game. I think it was 81 to... I think I scored 69. Was it 87 to... What was our score, Miles? I've got it on my phone, actually. Let me check. But I definitely feel like I got better as the event went on, because I only played that list 1 time before the event. 81 to 63, so it was an 18-point game. And there was a couple of, like, I failed my charge into his backfield. That would have helped me. I felt like I should have deployed my gladiator in strategic reserve. That would have helped me a lot as well. Yeah. And then his Baharoth guy survived the charge from the Terrax, which was like literally a single failed save and he was dead. He actually had to make 2 saves. He failed one and then he CP re-rolled it and he passed on the re-roll. So I mean, there's some swings. It always happens. But I felt like I had a good event. And I enjoyed my list with Gilman in it. And I'm gonna play if they change it, I guess I'm not gonna get to play it again because the next tournament I'm gonna go to is probably November. But yeah, okay, so this list here is fine. I don't understand this chaplain litany. I like troops. I genuinely think troops with sticky objectives is really nice. I also think Sanguinary Guard with Infernal Pistols is really nice. For me, I'd probably take Sanguinary Guard over Centurions because like 5 Sanguinary Guard with Infernal Pistols here is going to be 30 points cheaper. I think Sanguinary Guard are still one of our best units. Like, they're expensive. I don't think you want to take shitloads of them, but they are our best unit. It's the ability to heroic 6 inches is just too good to ignore. It gives you plays that you maybe didn't even consider. You can hide behind things. You can pop out. You can get extra movement if they deploy badly or if they move badly. I also really like the Mastercrafted, or even... I even just like Lightning Claws on the Sergeant there, because the Sergeant gets 7 attacks. So the Mastercrafted Lightning Claw, he feels a lot more reliable than the Thunderhammer, just because he's going to hit a lot more often. And if you do play Fury the First on the Lightning Claw guy, then you're hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s, so you hit super reliably. Anything else on this list? I like having Rites of War, I think it's good. I didn't actually miss the Sanguinary Priest that much, but do you know what? One of the games, Highland Phoenix, my Gladiator Reaper was 100% MVP as well. So, good call in telling me to run a Gladiator Reaper. It was actually against World Eaters. And I used my Terrax to go into his backfield and deal with, like, he had, like, Armigers. So the Armigers were tied up dealing with the Terrax, and the Reaper won the game. Like, 100% won the game. Gladiator Reaper. Yep. Okay, so was there any other questions? You didn't actually say what was in the Stormraven. I assume it would be the Devastators. I think you should, if you're going to put something in the Stormraven, I'd probably put Sternguard in. So I put Sternguard in, save 35 points. I'd swap out the Centurions for Sandguard, I'd save another 30 points. The loadout on the Stormraven looks fine. What could you do with 35? What could you do with like 65 points? You could honestly drop 1 Blade Guard and just run the 3-man. That would give you another 35. So then you've got 100 points. So you could easily take another squad of Infiltrators. That would give you a ton of Deep Strike prevention and also give you more Action Monkeys and stuff like that. What did you put in the drill? A Tech Marine and a Stern Guard. A Stern Guard was 3 Combi Plasmas, a Power Fist, 2 Multi-Meltas. The Tech Marine was Combi Melta, Plasma Cutter, 2 Servo Arms, and the Flamer. Terex performed really well in some games, but swung badly in other games. I guess when you only have 5 attacks and you only hit on 4s, it can go both ways. It either just munched everything. Its shooting was very good, actually. Its survivability was pretty decent because it's toughness 8. So I'm going to run the Terex again with a Stern Guard inside. Typically, when I brought it in, it just destroyed anything it needed to. And against Miles, it would have killed his X-Arch thing if it wasn't wound capped, right? I mean, the reason it didn't kill it because it's got that stupid wound cap, so I have to kill it in 2 phases. You can't use this site anymore without ad block, I believe. I've got ad block, but when you turn it on, it keeps telling you to turn it off to use Wapedia. So I guess Wapedia realized that they could put ads in here and make money now. What can you do about it? Okay, first list is fine. Very little pointers for Todd. Not too much that needs switched out. I don't really think I like Centurions. I think if you're going to run Centurions, you're going to end up you're going to want to strategic reserve them, so then you're bringing them from the side of the board. You're hoping for that 8-inch charge, or the 9-inch charge with +1. And generally, I think every time I tried to do a 9-inch charge, this event, I failed it. I don't remember making a single 9-inch charge. And I know I failed it against the Necrons. I know I failed it against... Oh, do you know what? I did one against the World Eaters when that was kind of already my game anyway. But yeah, so if a 9-inch charge with a reroll is a 66% chance, then at this event it was the complete opposite, because I think I passed 33% of them. So that's how much stuff can swing at events, and that's why I think Centurions... I don't know how you feel Centurions. If they're walking across the board, they're bullet magnets. If you're reserving them from the side of the board, you're just crossing your fingers and hoping they make that 9-inch charge. Yeah, I mean, it was fun, Reziel. I won Best Sportsman. So out of the 5 people I played against, they all voted for me, I guess, for the best game of their tournament, or whatever, however that works. So we're only doing 4 lists tonight, so it's going to be like an hour stream. We're already through 1 list. Heller's list. Yes, I guess I'm not reviewing your previous list because it's Nephilim, so here is your Arks of Omen list. You've got Dante, who's the Warlord. You've got a Soul Warden, Icon of the Angel, Sanguinary Priest. I'd try and put Soul Warden on somebody else. I guess if you've got Astaroth, you can't. But I think Soul Warden on the same character as a Sanguinary Priest kind of wastes a little bit of the bubble of Feel No Pain. It's really annoying that Dante can't take a useful Warlord trait. But I mean, I guess if you run Dante, that's, you're going into, you know what you're getting when you run Dante, right? You've got 2 squads of Infiltrators and 1 squad of Incursors. And 1 squad of Intercessors. I feel like Intercessors are not needed. If you're going to run Intercessors, I would run the Assault version, because the Bolters are like meh. Having just played an event where I just had 1 squad of Infiltrators and 1 squad of Incursors, I guess I had a squad of Voidsmen as well, so maybe I guess technically I have 3 troop units, but yeah, I don't see all that much value in a squad of regular Intercessors. I tried them like not long ago, and I didn't think much of them. Rites of War and the Priest would probably be better than Soul Warden. Yeah, if you want to run Soul Warden, like if you're in a meta where there's a lot of mortal wounds and you want protection against them, it's really good to have Soul Warden on a different character from your Priest, because then you've got 2 bubbles. I guess you could do that by putting Litany of Faith on Astaroth or something like that if you wanted, right? Thanks, Crispy Delicious. Yeah, no, it was I think probably over the last year, I think I've realized that, like, as much as I want to be competitive, I want to make sure that, like, my games, I don't really like the games where, like, every millimeter of movement is questioned and every rule is questioned and stuff like that. So I think what I subconsciously just try to make sure that every game this weekend was really enjoyable for both me and my opponent. Like if they forgot something, I was like, sure, no problem. If they were moving into the next phase and they forgot, like, sometimes it happens, like they have a character that they've obviously put there to shoot and they're about to go into the combat phase, and I was like, hey, did you not mean to shoot that character? So I try to just be like that stand-up person, and not and make it, and I guess people liked that, right? And I actually kind of liked it as well, to be honest. So, yeah, Death Company with hammers, Death Company with fists, Death Company with infernal pistols, Sangre Guard with infernal pistols, Sangre Guard with infernal pistols, and then Vanguard veterans with lightning claws and storm shields. We haven't seen these much. I do need to play these. And you've also got a Mastercrafted Relic Blade in there as well. That's cool. Oh yeah, Gav's here. Gav won the tournament. Gav won for the 4th time. Gav always wins. Doesn't matter. Gav took an army he'd never played before at an event. He wins again. People were saying that it might be useful to have a room in Discord for people to ask Gav questions. We might set that up. It depends if Gav can be arsed answering all the questions that people get. But But yeah, seems like a common thing that Gav can take any army and still win the event. Okay, we also have a squad of Assault Intercessors, Infernal Pistol, Lightning Claws, Plasma Pistols, Eviscerators. You've got the Whirlwind, and then you've got the Ancient with Rites of War and Wrath of Baal. I mean, when you've got 7 jump pack units, I feel like that's important to have the Ancient with Rites of War and Wrath of Baal. Thanks, Dirty Wizard, I appreciate that. We could put Rites of War on the Priest, and we could put Soul Warden on the Sangre Ancient. That'd probably be better here, just because you've got the two. You've got the two. You get the 2 auras, the 2 Feel No Pain auras, whatever you want to call it. I guess I need to play your Ymir Votan at some point, Gav. We should play on WTC terrain. We should play on a map that has shitloads of terrain, and then let's see how we get on. I'm actually interested to see how you played the Votan, because when Andrew was playing the Votan, it was quite one-dimensional. So I guess we'll see. Give him a unique role with the server color. I mean, I guess we could try and figure that out, yeah. I know it's funny because, like, Andrew jumps off armies. Like, Andrew's like, I'm done with Votan because I took them into one event and didn't do that well with my one-dimensional net list that I copied from the internet. And then Gav sits down and actually reads the codex and figures it out and then wins the event the first time he goes. So it's kind of ironic that Andrew's like throwing his iron hands in the bin, having previously been the Votan as well, and now he's doing Imperial Guard. And he's printing Kazarkan or whatnot, the Imperial Guard ones that are like broken. And they're not going to be broke by the time he's 3D printed, like, I don't know, 50 Kazakhin. Oh, I mean, I think you can only run 30 in a list, so 30. By the time he's 3D printed 30 Kazakhin, they'll be nerfed, or they'll not be good anymore. So Heller's list to me feels a little bit like a Armor of Contempt list, right? Like, it's all the jump units, which is cool. It's infiltrators to screen. It's a whirlwind, it's an ancient, it's assault squads. My experience of this list, or my impression of this list, is like, if you played the game I played today against World Eaters, you cannot win against World Eaters with this list, right? Because every single unit that you charge into will fight on death and will 100% wipe your squad, and arguably, like, they'll wipe a squad of Sangre Guard with like 100-point squad of Berserkers. So it doesn't matter if you make them fight last with a whirlwind, they fucking fight on death for 1 CP. They're also on top of you super quick because they're 8-bound, can deep strike in turn 1. They're 8-bound, can also move 11 inches pre-game, and then move 11 inches as well. And they can do that with 2 units. So they can basically have 2 units, 22 inches across the board in turn 1, along with other reserves coming in turn 1, 9 inches away from your deployment. So a list like this is fine against some armies, but I feel like it'll be totally gatekeeped by some. I think if I would not have liked to be playing this weekend. I don't know much else to say. I think this list is super dependent on terrain, and I also think that, like, there's just it's nice that it's got protection against mortals. I'll give it that. But none of these units, like Death Company, are 100% not durable anymore. Sangre Guard are 100% not durable anymore. I guess your guys with Lightning Claws and Storm Shields have a bit of durability, but if you only got 5 of them, it's not going to be enough. Trust me. I mean, I run Terminators, I run Blade Guard, I run 2 Toughness 8 vehicles. What else did I have that was tanky? I mean, I guess I'd Gilliman on a 3-up save as well. 9 wounds, Toughness 6. And in some of the games, I still felt like I was getting totally hammered. So, I mean, that Necron list that we played first, I think the Necron player Matthew, he came second in the last tournament. I think he only got beat by Gav. His list just does so much fucking damage. Like, just like I was killing him really, really well, and at the end of the game, I almost killed everything that he had, bar a few outliers here and there. But he just scored 97 points. He didn't even need turn 5. In turn 5, when I'm making like charges and stuff, he's like, "Oh, just lift those models off, they're dead." I was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Oh, I'm already on 97 points. Yeah, it's fine." I was like, "Fucking hell. I mean, I'm killing you left, right, and center, and I'm doing everything that I need to, but yeah, I felt like I really took a pounding. So, yeah, that's the way it goes, I guess. So this list, Heller, is going to do okay against some armies, for sure, and it's going to do okay if you've got a lot of terrain. The Intercessors I don't really like. Dante I don't really like. I think he's overcosted now because they didn't put him down in points, which they should have. And I mean, I like all the free Infernal Pistols, don't get me wrong, those good. Thunderhammers are good. You could maybe get some value out of a Quake Bolt in here. But the other question I think as well now is like, I haven't played an event for a while where so many people started stuff in reserve, right? Like there was a lot of stuff in reserve. For example, when I played Miles Eldar, he started all 6 D cannons in reserve. So normally, like my play in early game against Eldar would be like find the D cannons, kill the D cannons, because if I don't kill the D cannons, what are they, like 3? D3 shots, strength 12 minus 4, D6 plus 2 damage or something. So basically every D cannon shot is a dead marine. And even if he's firing indirect, you're probably only saving on 5s or 6s, and he's wounding you on 2s. So it's normally like, you need to find the D cannons and kill them. Well, I can't find them. They're just going to come in on the side of the board, and he's probably going to bring them in on the side of the board where he's got line of sight. So I'm not even going to get the sort of -1, +1 to my armor save. So yeah, if you don't have durable stuff, and let's face it, Death Company and Sangre Guard aren't durable anymore, you're just dying. And it would be really nice if you could transhuman Death Company or Sangre Guard. I feel like that would always help, but unfortunately not. I did even use transhuman a couple of times on my 3-man squad of Blade Guard. I thought it was okay. It kept them alive a couple of times. In one of the games against the World Eaters, the Blade Guard, I was shooting at berserkers with like Gilliman and my Whirlwind and my Gladiator Reaper, and every time I'm killing the berserkers, they're moving closer, right? Because every time they die, they get to move D6 closer towards what was shooting them. And at one point, they ended up just fucking piling into my Blade Guard because I'm a 3 Blade Guard in front of Gilliman. They were basically Gilliman's bodyguard, yeah, transhuman really saved them, because I think if I hadn't transhumaned them, I would have lost them all. And I really just wanted them to be there so that the berserkers couldn't pile into Gilliman, because you don't want berserkers fighting Gilliman before he gets to fight them, right? Like, I guess you could argue that about many things, but that was the way I was playing it. All right, Reziel's gonna hook Gav up with I think Gav's name on Discord is maybe just Gav, but hopefully he'll tell you what it is. I think, well, I played, let me pull up the map and tell you. I played World Eaters on the Scouring, right? And if you're not familiar with the Scouring, that's probably the worst map to have to play World Eaters on, because, where is it? Arks of Omen. I got my Arks of Omen book today. It was cool. I'm glad to finally got it. Scouring. So these two objectives are only 18 inches apart. So if you draw the 3-inch circle off both of these, then these two objectives are only 12 inches apart. If World Eaters can get +2 to their movement from their Warlord, so the Berserkers move 8, that means if you're on this objective and he's on this objective, essentially he only needs like a 4 or 5-inch charge. Remember, World Eaters can charge on 3d6 and discard the lowest. So whatever you have sitting on here is potentially going to get charged by Berserkers potentially every turn. If it's worse where they have a rhino sitting on this objective, then the berserkers are coming out 3 and then moving 6, and then they're fucking on this objective anyway. So would aggressors have done the same bodyguard? I mean, the aggressors would have probably worked. Just the 4-up in Vun is possibly better. I actually had a combat against aggressors Highland Phoenix where it was 6 aggressors against my Terminators, and I lost all my Terminators except the Sergeant and 1 Thunderhammer. And on the fight back, the Sergeant with that Mastercrafted Lightning Claw and the Thunderhammer killed 4 aggressors and maybe did like 2 wounds to the yeah, I think that was it. Killed 4 aggressors. So it was a 6-man squad of aggressors. I killed 4 of them and did 2 wounds. So I did like 14 wounds to aggressors with just the Terminator Sergeant and the Thunderhammer regular guy. And I was like, this is why invulnerable saves are king, right? So aggressors could bodyguard, but I mean, I think if you're playing the unit as a bodyguard, and there was 2 ways I was going to play the blade guard. One was going to be the blade guard are going to walk around near Gilliman and prevent him from being shot, and the other way I was going to play the blade guard was to just be off on a corner objective by themselves, just holding it, and I did both. Aggressors die so easily with a 3-up. Yeah, I mean, they get a lot of bolter shots, but their bolter shots are typically AP 0, right? It's only 1 turn they have 1 AP, really, those bolter shots. Alright. So... Okay, Turkey's going to help you, Gav. We're trying to figure out something for Cypher Clips on Discord, because he's Gav won today's tournament and he gets lots of questions from people. We're trying to make it so it's easier for him to answer the questions on Discord. Okay, It's Thorpe is list number 3 for today. It's a new list with Death Company, Blade Guard, Sanguinary Guard, some additional clearance like Bolt Aggressors, and some fire support with Armigers, as I'm not the biggest fan of Dreadnought support, maybe a Relic Contemptor. Thank you for the review. Okay. Again, it's Dante as the Warlord. Sanguinary Priest with a jump pack. Nothing on him. I feel like if you're taking the Sanguinary Priest with nothing, guess that's okay. I feel like Rights of War always wins me games. I'm surprised we haven't seen much Rights of War here. We also have 2 Infiltrator squads with Helix. We've got 5, that's 6-man Aggressor squad. We've got a 5-man Blade Guard squad. We've got the Company Champion with the Blade of Triumph. He spent 2 CP on the Company Champion. What else has he got? He's got Martial Exemplar. We've got Death Company with Thunderhammers. We've got Death Company Infernal and Power Fists. Sorry, Power Swords. We've got Ancient with the Wrath of Baal. We've got the Guard with all those Infernal Pistols. We've got the Guard with all these Infernal Pistols. And then we've got Helverins with the Autocannons and Meltaguns. Okay, cool. I really don't think, personally, with all those Infernal Pistols, that you need 6 or 7-man squads of Guard. So I just had 1 squad of Sanguinary Guard this weekend, and it was a 5. I think that if you've got the Wrath of Baal and you've got basically 20-inch threat range on those Infernal Pistols, I suppose it depends. My issue is Sanguinary Guard, like, I'm trying to think, like, I lost a whole squad of Sanguinary Guard to a unit of Khorne Berserkers. I feel like it wasn't even close. I think it was like 6 saves at -4, 3 damage each. So, I mean, like, I think that might have just been the Sergeant as well, right? How many reviews reviewed each week? It is... Sometimes I've been doing 8, but because I just spent the whole weekend doing a tournament, I'm just doing 4 tonight. If you ever plan on doing data, 6 is okay. Well, maybe 6. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of 7 Sanguinary Guard at the moment. I guess it depends on terrain. It depends on the meta. I feel like they die fairly quick for 30 points per model. I think I would like more smaller squads, in my opinion. The Death Company with 5, and this is what I ran this weekend. I ran 5 with hammers and 5 with Infernal Pistol power swords. I think that's good. I feel like if you run the hammers, though, you do need Chapter Master rerolls, or you do need some way to get +1 to hit, because hammers with just hitting on 4s is generally pretty crappy. 6 Aggressors is interesting. I played against 6 Aggressors this weekend. I felt like they didn't... I felt like their shooting would be good against chaff. I felt like their combat was okay. I felt their survivability was kind of okay as well, but I guess for me... I mean, I've got 6 Bolt Aggressors. I just don't... I mean, I think I see them a bit like Centurions, right? They've got a 5-inch move. They get toughness 5. They're gonna... Because they're -1... It'd be, if they weren't -1 to hit in melee, maybe, but they're -1 to hit, so... Thorpe says, I've been trading to Power Sword Death Company and 7-man Sangre Guard for 2 Vanguard veteran squads myself. Have rights on the Ancient, but maybe shoot it up on the Priest. I think rights is... Rights can be better on the Ancient because of Heroic Intervention. You can Heroic Intervene with 6 with the Stratagem on the Ancient. Rights on the Priest is okay as well. My experience, though, is like... I want rights on a durable character, so that's why I put it on my Chapter Master who's got 6 wounds. And he's got toughness 5. Because I feel like rights should be on a durable character, because you're gonna... inevitably, you're going to have to put that character out on an objective, probably. And it could be later in the game where you need to obsec it. You don't have many units left on the objective. He's not going to get Lookout Sir. I guess you could argue that Dante would be good in that case because he's -1 to hit, but he can't take rights. So, like, yeah, I'm not sure I like rights on the Priest, because my experience of the Priest is he's not survivable at all. I try to make that work. I guess I'm not a good enough player to make that work. I ran it on the Priest a bunch of times. The Priest always got picked off and died, and I didn't get any value out of it. So I started putting it on a durable character, like my Bite Captain. And the Bite Captain always gets that 20-inch auto advance, which means you can jump forward, hide behind a piece of terrain, daisy chain 6-inch right onto an objective. I like that as well. I like Blade Guard. I think Blade Guard might be better in 3s than 5s. Do you know what? Maybe if this was me, I would take 6 Blade Guard and then combat. You can combat squad Blade Guard, right? I don't know if anyone does it, but my experience with the Blade Guard this weekend was like, I think 3 is the right size of a Blade Guard veteran unit. Yeah, they can combat squad. Yeah, so I would lose an Aggressor and take 6 Blade Guard and try and combat squad them. You might need to find some point somewhere to do that, right? You might need to find 10 points. You could swap out one of those Infiltrator squads for an Incursor squad. That's not the end of the world. I have a suggestion with the Helverins is going Hunters of Beasts. The Stubber is better, however. Consider trying Mysterious Garden for turn 1 Strategic Reserves. What did he say? He did say Hunter of Beasts. I guess the Stubber probably is better because the Metal is very rarely going to be in range. Mysterious Garden could be cool as well. I guess it depends if you feel like you want to start your Armigers on the board or not. The problem with the Armigers is, remember, you have to deploy them within 6 of each other, right? So the thing that happened in one of the games when I played against people with Armigers is, like, if you deploy them both, like, because they have to be within 6, you can almost end up deploying them on one flank and getting them stuck on a flank. So Armigers can be tricky to deploy if you are going to deploy them. You have to deploy them as one unit, yeah. Well then, yeah, lose the metal guns, put on Stubbers, and I think I think I would do, if you've got the aggressors as 5s rather than 6s, it also gives you that option of that 1 CP transhuman. I think you'll get more, I feel like you get more flexibility out of 2. Have you got 6 elite choices? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you do. I feel like you get more flexibility out of a 3-man Blade Guard, because I've run 5-man Blade Guards a lot, and I think my experience with a 5-man Blade Guard, and maybe that was what I saw this weekend at the event, is like, when people commit to the Blade Guard, they kill the whole squad. So by just having the 3-man squad, they still have to commit quite a bit, because it's still 9 wounds, it's still a Storm Shield, it's still good against 2 damage weapons in that it takes 2 damage weapon kills, or 2 damage weapon fails to kill a single guy, right? So, because I think that was what happened actually. I was playing World Eaters, and he went to charge me, and he was charging me with the Lord, that new Lord that has the Flying Juggernaut. What the hell's that guy's name? Is World Eaters updated on this yet? It might be. I think it's like Lord Invocatus or something. It must be Lord Invocatus. Yes. So he because I said to you my Blade Guard were in front of Gilliman to keep Gilliman alive, right? So he charged my Blade Guard with Lord Invocatus, who's getting 8 attacks. Because you get World Eaters get +1 on the charge. He's sitting on 2s, so you probably expect like 7 hits. And then he's going to be strength user. So you get +1 strength when they charge. So it's going to be strength 7, -3, 2 damage, but you can't take in Vuns against this, right? And that was when I transhumaned the 3-man Blade Guard, because I went like, right, so it's going to be 7 hits. He's probably going to wound like 5 or 6 times. It's going to be -3, so even the Blade Guard are only going to get to save on 5s. What's this going to look like for me? Like, I need to take 5 saves on 5-ups. And I was like, I'm probably going to transhuman here, because if I transhuman, he's going to need 2 to go through to kill a single guy, because they're just 2 damage. So that's when I transhumaned, and I only lost 1 Blade Guard. And then they fought him back and did 4 wounds, which was not enough to kill him. He's on like 8 wounds, but it was enough where I was like, right, next turn I just follow the Blade Guard out of combat and kill and like charge him with. I think I maybe just charged him with Gilliman. I don't remember what actually killed him. Lord Jackalope, Lord Avocado. Yes, well, whatever. This guy when Brett fielded this guy last week, he wrecked Gilliman. He absolutely wrecked Gilliman, because Gilliman can't take in Vuns against him. So Gilliman's only saving on a 5, and he's basically hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, and saving on a 5. And that's like the biggest enemy for Gilliman, because he's got no invulnerable saves. So that's what I used the 3-man Blade Guard for. Then I transhumaned them, and I was actually kind of big in that game and kind of helped me win that game. I'm probably going to win that game anyway, because I just played World Eaters and I knew exactly how to combat them. But I think 3-man Blade Guard, I've tried to run 5-man Blade Guard a lot over the last 18 months. I was probably running 5-man Blade. I think I ran 5-man Blade Guard to a tournament in 2021. So I think I've been running 5-man Blade Guard for 18 months, maybe longer at this point. Maybe because that was right after COVID, so maybe that was almost 2 years ago. And the amount of times I've run 5-man Blade Guard, and I've thought like, yeah, sometimes they can be great, but other times you just lose the whole squad and they don't do anything. So it really felt to me like, and I think this is the first time I've run 3 to a tournament, and I really only ran them in 3 because I dropped the points, because I was like, fuck, I don't have enough points to fit all the things I want in my list. So I need to find like 70 points. It's hard to find points now with Marines because everything is free. So I dropped 2 Blade Guard, and honestly never felt like the 3-man squad missed the other 2 guys. I think people are saying that Invocatus may be better than Angron. I think so, because World Eaters were all over. Like in turn 1, he had like 4 units like right on the edge of my deployment zone. And all 4 of those units are fucking super scary, and they're all going to basically kill me. World Eaters have a codex that's now, our codex is from 2020. World Eaters outkill us on a ratio of like 2 to 1. It's crazy. He had a guy in his Berserker squad, Just like a random fucking berserker that has 12 attacks. I was like, say what? And you can make him like, I think he was hitting on 2s because he had because he had one of those Bloodright powers up, and I think he had like exploding 6s as well because he had one of those Bloodright powers up. I was like, you have one guy in a berserker squad. I mean, how much points is a squad of Khorne berserkers? They're like 105 points or something. You got one guy, and they're troops as well, so they've got OBSEC. I don't remember what the weapon is. It's a chain axe or something? I get it's not a relic. I don't know what weapon it was, but I mean, I'm sure the guy wasn't lying. He said he had 12 attacks. And I was just like, why have you got one guy that has 12 attacks? Like, you know, Blood Angels have like 3 attacks and 5 if we charge. If we end up in combat for another turn, it'll be like we are down to like 2 or 3 attacks. I mean, if Death Company end up in combat for another turn, it's like 2 attacks. The Chain Glavy. Yes, maybe that was it. That was it, yeah, the Chain Glavy. What's that on an 8 bound? How many points are they? They're 40 points. Okay, I mean, 40 points is quite a lot for one guy, but it's only 5 more points than a Blade Guard. And so on the charge, their strength 8 minus 3. And yeah, he can have 12 attacks. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah, or you get the guys with the double eviscerators. So basically they have like what, 8 attacks and they're all 2 damage minus 3. I mean, like, Blood Angels can't fight that. You just can't fight that. You will be, if you try and fight that army in melee, it's game over, right? Like, it's simple as that. They have 0 shooting options, yes. They do have 0 shooting options, so we need shooting options. Like, in that game against World Eaters, honestly, my Gladiator Reaper was the MVP. I think I don't win that game without the Gladiator Reaper. It maybe killed, I want to say, every turn it mopped up somewhere between like 8 to 10 models. So it alone probably killed 50, maybe 50 is over. Let's say it killed like 40 infantry over the course of the game, right? Like, it would. You got to remember, my Gladiator Reaper's hanging out with Gilliman, so he's getting to reroll all his 1s. So that adds like a fair amount of reliability to my Reaper. But yeah, it was 100% MVP. So I like that you've got shooting in this list. I like that you've got some Sandguard and some Death Company. That's kind of what I'm doing. I was running 2 Death Company exactly this way. 1 Sandguard, 5 of the Infernal Pistols. I was actually running a Terminator squad because I like the durability on the Terminator squad. And then I was running the small Blade Guard and I was running Stern Guard. But I think in this list I would 100% go for 6 Blade Guard with the intention of combat squadding them. And I'd probably try and... I mean, you've got Rites of War, Wrath of Baal and the thing, so... I think it's pretty decent. The only thing to possibly change then is I get, maybe it's not even a thing to change, it's just a case of like working out what you're putting in reserve. And I do think, like, just looking at this, there's, yeah, I mean, the Armiger's potentially in reserve. You have a bit of shooting. It's got a bit of balance. It's got a bit of durability. I think it's okay. I think this is one of the more balanced lists that we've looked at today. I don't like Angelus bolt guns personally. Killer, I've used them a lot. I've used them in tournaments for years now, and typically they chip off like 1 or 2 wounds. So I think right now, while Infernal Pistols are free, I'd 100% take Infernal Pistols. So you can get 9. You can get strength 9, minus 3, 2 damage attacks with no hit penalties on the Berserkers. Yeah, I mean, World Eaters will outfight us all day long, it seems like. So having something like this that can help deal with some of that is good. And the Stubber would be better, I think. And the only other thing I could say is I think one squad of infiltrators is okay. Sorry, I think one squad of infiltrators is okay, yeah, and incursors with the free mine is decent as well now. Like, I knew that the World Eater player was going to be trying to get into my deployment zone in turn 1 with the free 8-bound strategic reserve, so I put my incursors right on the front with the intention of, like, hey, if you want to come in here, you're going to take some mortals from the mine, and, yeah, Infernal Pistols are reliable damage. They really are. I don't think I used Angel Sacrifice one time at this event. Which is uncommon. Normally I feel like I really have to use it. And I guess you could use it into World Eaters. It might help save a squad, and that would be important, but yeah, the thing as well about World Eaters is all their core can fight on death. I was surprised, I don't think their characters can fight on death, which was actually a big surprise to me. I was convinced, because I was like, can you check? And he said, yeah, no, the characters can't fight on death. I was like, are you sure? So your core units can fight on death for 1 CP, but your character units can't. It's a bit strange. Should we just Assault Doctor in turn 1 and 2? If you've got a priest, you want to get, like... I always think Blood Angels are much better than Assault Doctrine. I try and get there as quickly as possible. If we could get into Assault Doctrine quicker than turn 3, I would be there 100%. In a couple of my games, I'm just sitting around waiting for turn 3 because our guys get such a buff from being an Assault Doctrine in terms of, like, everybody gets +1 attack, everybody gets +1 AP. It's huge. It's one of the best things we can do. Alright, this can be the last list for today because I'm tired of shit. This is from Raster Do Squick. And he's put some comments at the bottom. So we've got a Warlord who is the Primaris Captain, Mastercrafted Power Sword, he's got the Relic Shield, and he's got Soul Ward and Icon of the Angel. I question how you're delivering this guy. I don't like Blood Angels characters that don't have jump packs or on bikes. You got a Reaver Lieutenant, I guess just as he comes. You got this Chaplain on a bike with Master of Sanctity, Benediction of Fury, Wise Orator. I don't know if I rate Benediction of Fury. A lot of people take it. I think I'd probably rather take something that does buffs, really. Like Rites of War or something. I mean, I guess Benediction of Fury gives you a 4 damage Crozius if you successfully cast Mantra of Strength. I guess it can do some work, and I think it does do a mortal wound on 6s. It's not bad. I don't know. I think for me, the way that this guy used to get played was they gave him Armor Indomitus that gives him like 8 wounds. He's more likely to survive an extra turn, and with that extra turn, it would make up for not having Benediction of Fury. I guess you can argue that among yourself. I prefer to take... If this was me, I would take Armor Indomitus over Benediction of Fury. You've got Null Zone, Psychic Fortress, Smite, Standard, Primaris, Librarian. If you're going to run that, I think you want to run Psychic Mastery, because Null Zone is a 7 cast, and it's hard to make a cast on 7. Hey James, good evening. It isn't if it isn't the greatest sportsman ever. I mean, I tried. I made the tournament really fun for everybody else. I was actually kind of chuffed to get the Sportsman Award. So yeah, I think maybe I've realised that, like, the thing that I like the most about going to tournaments is to meet new people and have fun. I mean, I wouldn't have taken Gilliam into a tournament. I'm trying to think, would I have taken Gilliam into a tournament if I was absolutely desperate to win it? I mean, you guys have seen the terrain we play on at the tournaments. It's not always the densest, right? So it's not like WTC or LVO where, like, I realistically have a chance to beat the hardest armies because there isn't that level of terrain on the board. In fact, the game I played against World Eaters today, there wasn't a single piece of terrain on any of the 5 objectives. Right? Because I said to the guy before the game, I was like, we can change this if you want, because none of the objectives have any terrain on them. So your World Eaters will have to stand in the open and hold them. My Blood Angels will have to stand in the open and hold them. And the guy was like, no, this is the way the map's set up. Let's play it. I was like, fine, if you're happy, I'm happy, right? Like, I mean, neither of us were going to win the event. We're just going to try and play and have a fun game at the end. And yeah, I mean, that's why I took Armigers previously. That's why I've taken a super heavy tank. In the last year, I've run Armigers, I've run super heavy tank, and now I've run Rebooty. And all of those lists have been really fun. And fun, for me, probably pips it. Anyway, we've got, so if you are going to take the Primaris Librarian, my experience in tournaments tell me that you need to be Psychic Master and you need the +1 to cast if you want Null Zone to go off. Depending on what else you've got in your list, depending if Psychic Fortress is important, like if you're running like double Redemptors, it doesn't look like you are, but if you were running double Redemptors, you're going to need the +1 to cast for Psychic Fortress as well. You've got the Blade Guard Ancient, who's got Steadfast Example. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Steadfast Example? Okay. That's a Warlord trait that I've never, ever used. Steadfast Example. It's not even in here? Not seeing it. Steadfast Example. I don't know what the fuck that is. Does anyone know what Steadfast Example is? You've got Primaris, Apothecary. I mean, you got way too many characters at the moment. We're already on 6 characters, so that's way too much. Characters need to be thought of as like, characters don't win games. They're there to give out their auras, give out their buffs, whatever. I've been generally trying to keep to 3 characters for my lists. You do see some people take more, like 4 is possibly okay, 5 might be okay, but 6 is getting a bit crazy. You've got 5 Aggressors, you've got Blade Guard, 2 4-mans with the Plasma Pistol. I'd probably say the Volkite Pistol is better here. And then you've got Sangregar with Infernal Pistols and Axes. You've got 2 squads of Infiltrators with Gauntlets. You've got 2 squads of Eliminators, 1 with Fusils, 1 with Snipers. I think if you want Eliminators to work, you either need to go all in Fusils or all in Snipers. You can't mix, because 1 squad of Snipers statistically will not kill a character for 2 turns. I think 3 turns, maybe even statistically. Oh, Steadfast Example is a Chapter Command Warlord upgrade. I think it's more OBSEC. Oh, Blood Angels can't take that, right? Because our Ancient can't take that, so that's a mistake. That's why it's not coming up on Wapedia. It'll be in the Chapter Command section, but there's like a caveat in the Chapter Command that says Blood Angels can't take this. I can't remember exactly why. I think it's because we've got the Sangre Ancient, and this is more like for a Chapter Ancient. I think if you chose, so I think this is a mistake, right? You can't take Steadfast Example. I don't think the Blade Guard Ancient is a very good character anyway. Just Sangre Ancient is just better, I think. And he's more mobile. But yeah, I mean, this is too many characters right now, for sure. You've got Inceptors with 5, and you've got the Plasmas, and then you've got 2 squads of Outriders. Outriders for me aren't good either, honestly. They don't do enough damage. Their survivability is okay, but they suck from lack of... They struggle from lack of invuln. Might be okay if your Librarian had a jump pack, but he doesn't. So I don't know how he's keeping up with the Inceptors or the Outriders, so I don't really like that either. 4 characters is fine as long as one is a bike character with armor and Indomitus, says Jim. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be a bike character with armor and Indomitus, it just needs to be... I mean, like, the Chaplain on a bike is great. He is the best. He's the best. I think Blood Angels are... I always say, like, our biggest strength is our speed. I mean, that's kind of how I beat that's kind of how I beat World Eaters today, because World Eaters are super fast, but we are faster. So if we can use our speed, we can win matches, because we get out combated 2-1 almost by the World Eaters. Like when you've got a 40-point guy getting 12 attacks at strength 8 -3, like we're not beating that, right? Like we have to pick and choose our advantage, our fights and our advantages and stuff like that. You haven't wasted my time, dude. Send it in a new comment if you have a new list then, and we'll look at it next week. I'm kind of done for tonight anyway. I was only going to stream for an hour. It's been like an hour and 6 minutes. So no problem. If you submit a new comment raster to the channel, go over to community tab, put a new comment with a new list. But my comments stand. Eliminators don't work like this. Outriders are very questionable, and 6 characters is not good either. I think the Blade Guard Ancient stands out as me as the worst of these characters. The Reaver Lieutenant might be bad as well, actually. Like, I think you could possibly cut both of them, and then... What about Death Company? Have you got Death Company? Because Death Company with either Power Sword and Infernal Pistols, or Death Company with Thunder Hammers, are two of our... arguably our most damaging units, and I think you want either or. The Infernal Pistol Swords one is really, really good. Yeah, what did I miss? Sorry, Mike, what did you ask, Mike? Yeah, no, not too much. I won Best Sportsmanship at the event this weekend, which I was pleased to do. I would have preferred probably to finish like top 5. I was only I don't really use BCP on the computer, unfortunately. I use it on my I use Best Coast Pairings on my phone. Oh, maybe I'm logged in. It would be cool if I'm logged in. Hold on, let me see if I'm logged in. God damn it, I'm not. Let's work. We put this on the other screen in case it pops up my password. 1 second. No, that's not right. Let me try the other one. I don't really know. Like on Best Coast Pairings, can you see? Oh, my events. Past. Yeah, you can't see Best Coast Pairings on the PC without being a subscriber. Unfortunately, I'm not a subscriber. His Death Company with 2 hammers and fists plus Infernal is a decent loadout. It's decent, but I do think that either 5 hammers or 5 Infernal Pistol Swords is the way to go with the squad. Yeah, I would have kind of liked to finish top 5, but I didn't quite make it. I did, you know, I did win something, so that's cool. I don't know very much about BattleTech at all, and in fact, I never really heard anything about it. It looks like I get droids or something. Battle droids. Is it a hex-based game? I don't mind hex-based games. I've played them before. It said it was worth $24.99 on the back of the box. So, 5 pistols and 5 power fists would be okay as well. That'd be reasonably cheap. Yeah. So, I would have liked to finish top 5. I was only a few points outside top 5 actually. I should probably just take a. Do you know what? I saw it in the Facebook group. I can show you. So I'll show you where it was, and then I'm out of here. I'm tired. Where would it be? Give me 1 second. Okay, so here's top 7. No, that's not it. That's Age of Sigmar tournament. I'm apparently an idiot. Oh, I'm so bad at Facebook, honestly. I think there's like a way on Facebook you can click like my events or something. Events. Give me 1 second, I'll get the and hopefully get the found it. Scottish Takeover GT12. Yes, this is it. Here you go. Alright, here's the scoring. So like 5th had 397 battle points. I had 390. Finished 8th. Same record, right? Like 3 wins, 2 losses. This was the Necron player that beat me, actually. He went 3 wins, 2 losses as well. Interesting. So there's 2 4-1s, and there's a bunch on 3 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 people did 3 and 2. So 7 points from 5th place. I would have liked to finish top 5. That's kind of what my goal was aiming for. 8 victory points is not a lot. I feel like in one of those games where the Necron player decided to reanimate his old damn army with a bit of luck, that have probably scored me those extra points in the Necron game. 8 points is literally 1 more turn of decent primary. So 1 more turn where one of my guys hanged on to an objective or something like that. But I'll take best sportsmanship. I'm pleased with that. I guess that shows that I mean, you guys know anyway that I'm a decent person, a decent human being to play Warhammer against. I obviously made other people's event fun. And if we're not going to these events to have fun, then why the fuck are we going? Because, like, I like to know what's competitive. I do like to win, but I don't need to win bad enough that makes someone else's day be shit, if that makes sense. So I think that's where I'm landing these times. I'm limited in that I can't be as competitive as I want to be because I can't go to many events at the moment because of the age of my kids. So this is where I am. So thanks for watching. Sorry I only did 4 lists tonight. Probably be back to normal next week. Probably have some sort of painting stream again this week. Thank you for the support as always, guys. Hit the like button before you bail out tonight's stream. I appreciate that. And I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys soon. I think this week, unless someone DMs me a video idea on Discord that they really want to see, my video for this Friday is going to be the Vindicator Laser Destroyer versus the Desolator Squad. Because I think the Desolators are honestly possibly more viable to field than the Brutalis, because the Brutalis is so expensive. I think the Vindicator Laser Destroyers are going to cost the exact same points cost as the Desolator Squad. So I think that's where I'm going to go. DTM says, I hope Monday isn't too rough for anyone. Yeah, me too, DTM. Alright, enjoy your evening, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I will catch you some point this week for sure. Hit me up in Discord if there's a video that you want to see. If it's something about the new units, great. If it's something about an existing thing. And I'll also make a breakdown of some of the games. I took some photos from some of the games. I think I forgot in one of the games, maybe, but yeah, we'll take some photos. I'll put together a video on some of the tournament things. I'll probably make another video on my tournament MVPs as well, and see what we come up with. I think MVP wise, my Gladiator Reaper was an MVP in one of the games, which I didn't expect. So props to you, Highland Phoenix, for badgering me for fucking 6 months to finally put Gladiator Reaper on the list. I mean, in another situation, if I'd run some Ball Predators, it could have been them as well, actually. But, yeah. Alright, enjoy your evening, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.